red banners, tariff charts, and a standoff at the negotiating table. Could China and the U.S. finally talk trade?
Today is May 5th, 2025. After years of tariffs and retaliation, China's Commerce Ministry has publicly acknowledged considering trade talks with the U.S. This is the first time since the most recent escalation that Beijing has signaled a possible shift. Why now?
The pressure is mounting on both fronts. The Trump administration has raised tariffs on Chinese goods to as high as 145%. In response, China hit back with 125% duties on U.S. imports. But it hasn't stopped there. China's restricted rare earth exports, and the U.S. has limited AI chip sales to China. We're seeing ripples across global supply chains, and uncertainty is hitting consumer confidence.
The numbers are striking. Tariffs at these levels aren't just political tools. They're changing how companies operate. U.S. chip makers like NVIDIA are squeezed by export limits, while Chinese manufacturers are struggling with both higher costs and tighter access to tech. It's a standoff, but one that's starting to look unsustainable for both sides.
And now China says it's evaluating multiple approaches from Washington for talks. Their statement is clear. The U.S. started this trade and tariff battle, and if Washington wants to negotiate, it needs to take the first step, specifically to reduce or remove those tariffs. Is that a realistic demand?
It's a sticking point. For China, the tariffs are the main obstacle. Without a U.S. commitment to lowering them, Chinese officials say any negotiation would lack sincerity. But on the U.S. side, the administration's not just focused on tariffs. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told Fox Business he's confident China wants a deal. But he also pointed to intellectual property theft and cyber hacking as issues that need to be addressed. So, how do these priorities align?
They don't, at least not yet. The U.S. wants structural changes from China, not just tariff reductions. That includes tougher protection for American intellectual property and less cyber interference. China, in contrast, says it won't negotiate under pressure or threats. Their ministry's message, coercion and blackmail, won't work. And that tone wasn't just in print. A foreign ministry video this week showed defiance, with a warning that kneeling only invites more bullying.
There's a narrative gap. President Trump claims China approached first, while Beijing only just now admitted it's considering talks. Still, the Chinese Commerce Ministry said the U.S. has reached out on a number of occasions through intermediaries. Is this a sign of shifting strategy or just more posturing?
Maybe both. The stakes are global. Supply chains from tech to agriculture are in limbo. Companies exposed to tariffs are seeing stock swings, and some are delaying investments, waiting to see if a deal emerges. Others are moving production to new countries to avoid future shocks. Investors are watching for signals. Will there be formal negotiation dates, or maybe a partial rollback of tariffs?
President Trump has hinted that tariffs could come down substantially, but it won't be zero. That suggests room for compromise, but not a full climb down. What would real progress look like? Publicly announced talks, an agreed framework, or even a pause on new restrictions? On the other hand, if we see new tariffs or more accusations, that would mean talks have failed before they even start.
So the world is watching. Will these first signals turn into real negotiations, or just another round of statements and counterstatements? The answer could reshape not just U.S.-China relations, but the global economy.
That's the story so far. Deep tariffs, tough rhetoric, and a new opening for talks. The next moves will matter for companies, investors, and consumers worldwide.
Thanks for listening. We'll keep watching the negotiating table and the tariffs that shape it.